morning, everyone. Welcome to Realtors Property Resource. I hope everyone is safe and sound on this cold, blistery day. I am Lori Register from RPR's Industry Relations team, and I'm about 30 minutes south of Wilmington. If you've ever heard of Southport, North Carolina, it's our little bit of paradise. For the time being, since everyone in the world is buying real estate and developing here, I bet you guys know all about that. So let's get started on what is RPR. I'm going to start with two very, very short videos that really encapsulate what is RPR. And then the second one will go into how to create your account and set up your profile. We have a small group today. So if you feel as if you'd like to unmute yourselves and jump in at any time and ask me questions or ask me to go over something again, please do so. I'd love to get to know you on a personal level. RPR, not knowing your level of engagement with the platform so far, I'm just going to cover as much as I can in the time we have allotted today. RPR is so expansive though, and I don't say that to scare you. I say that to encourage you, because today's session, like I said, will just try to cover enough to show you what you can do with the platform. And then I'm going to provide you with all kinds of resources to engage further. And of course, Cub will always be presenting things to you in terms of how to use the tools, webinars you may want to attend, etc. So again, feel free to jump in with any questions you may have, and let's get started with this video on
As a realtor,
RPR.
You want the absolute best for your clients and customers. After all, buying or selling a property is one of the biggest decisions they'll make. But how can you provide them with the best information to make that decision? Typically, you could go to one place to get a few property facts, then to another place to research the local schools, and still another for local demographics. And for an even deeper dive, you could venture through several more places to learn the property history, what people are saying about the neighborhood, mortgage information, and so on. We understand you need to accurately assess what's best for your clients and customers. But the truth is, your time and money is being wasted tracking down all these facts from so many different places. That's where Realtors Property Resource comes in. RPR is the National Association of Realtors' exclusive nationwide property database for realtors. With access to over 160 million properties, RPR gives you access to the most comprehensive reports that are sure to inform and impress even the most demanding clients. No matter what your specialty is, RPR has partnered with hundreds of sources, including MLSs and CIEs across the country, to provide you with the most current, accurate, and valuable information in one centralized place. You will discover everything from school reports to census, demographics, tax data, foreclosures, mortgage information, mapping, distress data, flood zones, historic data, and so much more. That way, when your clients and customers come to you with every single question, you'll have every single answer. And because RPR is included in your NAR member dues, there is no additional cost. RPR, bringing realtors to the next level.
So that covered a lot, didn't it? And we'll go through with a few of the things mentioned in that video. But the biggest takeaway that I want to instill upon you from that video is that it's part of your dues. You don't pay anything additional for RPR, so it's always there for you through your NAR benefits. Okay, so how do you create an account? The page I'm showing you right now is from our blog, and we have a learning center that I'm going to go through with you later. But if you missed anything from today about how to create your account or set up your profile, I'm going to give you the link to this later, and you can access more videos on how to do that. I'm going to show you this short video on how to do it, and then we'll do it ourselves. But I like to show you this because what I see on RPR is a little bit different from what a realtor sees. So here we go. Creating your account.
Realtors Property Resource is one of the most innovative benefits included in your NAR membership, delivering on-the-go access to an all-encompassing real estate data platform available exclusively to realtors and offered at no additional cost. Creating an account on RPR is simple. Start by visiting narrpr.com. From the login page, choose Create a New Account. A window will open and you'll enter your last name and email address, or you can choose to enter your last name and NRDS ID. Select Next Step and RPR will alert you that an activation email is on its way. From the activation email, select Activate My Account. You'll be redirected back to the sign-up wizard in RPR with your information auto-populated. On the second step of the wizard, confirm your first and last name. Your email populates, which is your RPR username, and you can now create a password. For the next step, link your MLS or CIE information, which may also be auto-populated from your NRDS account. If you belong to more than one MLS or CIE, link the additional memberships so you can take full advantage of RPR and your MLS and CIE memberships. Choose your state from the dropdown, then choose your MLS or CIE and enter your agent ID. If you don't belong to an MLS or CIE, let us know here. Finally, once you finish, you have the option to print your username and password, or you can go directly to the RPR site. Update your profile here. And your last step is to download the RPR app to your iOS and/or Android devices. Simply go to Google Play or the App Store, search RPR Mobile, and download to your devices. Now you can access RPR anytime, anyplace. And be sure to subscribe to the RPR YouTube channel. It's an easy way to learn more about RPR features and tools and stay current on updates and improvements.
Okay, so in case you don't remember anything from that video, which I would not if I was you, or anything from what I'm about to show you, I'm also going to show you at the end of our session where you can find 2-minute video tutorials on how to set up your account and your profile, as well as all of these other topics. And these are all printables. So we're all different kinds of learners. Some of us want a piece of paper in our hands and to follow the instructions. For example, here is a printable on the home page. Or you can do video tutorials or webinars and so on. So these are just some of the topics, and I'll be sure to share that with you. If you didn't record the web address for the RPR platform, it is narrpr.com. And that's where the whole new world opens up for us. When you type into RPR, log in, well, when you go to the website, this is the page that you will find. Now for me, it's welcome back because I have everything set up. So here, if you see my mouse, and I should have made my mouse bigger, you'll create a new account. And as the video stated, you'll put in the last name you used for your NERDS number. And I heard from NAR, we're no longer calling it a NERDS number. I don't know if CUP knows what we're calling it now. And then you enter in the email you used, or if you have your NERDS number, enter that. I can't hit next here because I'm not doing that. But then it will go to the page where you assign and connect your MLSs to RPR so that the proper listings show up. Okay, so I'm going to sign in right here and get rid of this stuff on my screen. Sorry about that. And see up here let me know if my screen's not big enough. See up here in the top right corner, this is my photo. This is where I can find information for my profile and my settings. You won't have all of these other things. But here's my profile. This is so important to set up, folks, because the information that's on this page will be what's used to create all of your branded RPR reports. And we're going to generate a report today so you can see how easily you can customize them. Your name will show up, your address, your logo, and any other information. You can add your biography, testimonials, recent listings, flyers. They get pretty sophisticated. So pretty basic stuff. Enter all of your contact information. And your password should show up there. Very important to enter your time zone. Here, connected apps, if you guys use Zipform or any other, link your accounts here. And of course, you want to download the RPR app. It's incredible, guys. Anywhere you are, the RPR app picks up your GPS, shows it on a map, and you can do within 1 mile, 3 miles, 5 miles, maybe up to 10, no, probably at 5 miles. And it'll show you every home on a map, not only just what's for sale, but what's off market as well, what's distressed. You can tap on the icon at the address and up will come that property. We're going to show you all of the different data sets that are available for properties. You can call the listing agent. You can even generate reports. If your client is in the car with you and they say, what is that house? That's interesting. You go right into your app, click on it. You can tell them everything about that property, including listing agent remarks. In many cases, you'll see compensation on there. And you can say to the person, let me text you a property report on that, or you can print it out or email it. So I love the app. Here are your settings. I won't go through all of this because they're kind of obvious and you'll know what to do. So let's dive in. Are you ready? Okay. And again, stop me at any time. So scroll out a little bit here. This is the top half of your RPR home page. There's quite a bit here. I'm going to break it down for you. Let's look at this top navigation. These are more for the process items. For example, okay, I want to do some research. I don't have an address to type in yet. So let me do a property search, a map search, neighborhoods, schools, market activity, and then some commercial options. There's even a video right here on how to research. So you can choose those options and a bot will walk you through how to do those. Or you can say, I want some how I use RPR for marketing. You can do, we have so many prospecting tools that will help you get some new leads in 2022. And you can do it for residential or commercial. You can create one-page property flyers, all branded to you and your broker, and a commercial property flyer. And then here's another little video on how to use RPR to market. Reports. It's probably one of the cornerstones of RPR are the reports, and they're for commercial and residential, and they run the gamut, and you can see here. And let me know, we do have some chats. Let's see. I had an RPR account with a different brokerage and MLS. Do I have to create a new account? Great question. I'd love to know how to pronounce your cool name. No, you just, sorry?
It's Sir.
Oh, hi, sir. Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Yes, all you need to do is go in and update your profile.
Okay.
Okay, thanks for the question. Okay. So we're going to create a property report today. And if you'll join us for the next webinar where we do a deep dive into how to do CMAs with RPR, another of our cornerstones, in that session, we're going to do a seller's report and wait to see how that will blow your clients out of the water during your listing presentation. The Learn button. This is terrific. On any page that you're on within this platform, if you hit the Learn navigation, help topics will come up for that page. So it's relevant to whatever you're on. So in the home page, I get a little video on my markets. I get a little video on explore the home page, how to do things. And then these little videos, well, this one, map search and analysis is always long because we have really powerful map functions. So you can rely on the Learn, the help. I think you'll appreciate this as well. RPR's help center, I think they call it customer care team, is open 24/7, you guys. 24/7. Is based in Omaha. And they are subject matter experts on all things. So if you go to create your account or set up your profile, you have any questions, call this number and they will help you through. You can also do a live chat. There we go. And you can go to the training area, and I'm going to cover that a little bit later. All right. So that's the top. Oh, I'm sorry. You'll like this as well. This is the My Work section. So when I save my market areas, I can go here and bring them right up. I can bring up my own listings and whatever properties I've saved. You can save your properties, your reports, and just pull them right up. My recent properties, for example, here are all of mine. I don't have any listings. Here are my recent searches, and again, ways to get into the Learning Center. So always rely on getting into your work. You can, also do my notes. Okay. I'll breeze through these, but you'll use these. These are these terrific shortcuts set up. Prospecting for clients, search using a map, creating reports, investment analysis. I don't know if you're familiar with opportunity zones. If not, stay on board after and ask me about that. How to create a CMA. So, okay, I want to create a CMA with RPR. Show me. And it will take you through the whole process. I think there are 5 steps to a perfect CMA with RPR. So those are your shortcuts. Here's a synopsis of what's going on in your market. And once you start using the platform, you'll become more and more familiar with these. So in my market, which is the Wilmington area, and you set your market up when you're doing your profile. This is how many for sale properties, lease, pending, distressed, okay? And then I can go in and out of this map. And wait till you see later on what we can do with maps. And it's responsive, so as I move the map, it'll come up. Again, down here, if I don't want to go to my work, it all comes up down here and to get into the learning centers. So that's your homepage. All right. If I'm going too fast, let me know. So let's get to work. The first thing we want to do is research a property. And I think, okay, I'm going to turn off my screen. Can I turn myself off? Yeah, so I can put down my laptop. All right, here is, I chose this property in Chapel Hill. It was a challenge to find anything under $600,000 or $700,000. So here is the property details page. Again, there's going to be a lot on here, but we're always going to pick and choose what we want to do with RPR. If you want to do deep dives, you can. If you just, as I mentioned earlier, if you just want to go in and run reports, you can do that as well. So here's the summary page. And of course, here's our address. You can change the address right here. And we have photos, street views, overhead, virtual tours, historical photos. I love the historical photos so that I can show clients the before and after. Okay, these are all cards so you can collapse or expand them. So for here, you can enlarge and go through all of the photos. Very pretty house. Gives you some of the specs, 690, 3-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,600 square feet. I can watch them one photo at a time, or I can do a grid of photos. Over here is the map. Very powerful feature. I'm scrolling out to get a sense of where this is. Okay. I can enlarge my map to full screen. I can choose what the view, satellite, aerial, the road, and even the terrain, which in Colorado, a lot of people want, the terrain view. You'll like this. I can also go in and draw my map myself. Say I only want a particular area and I don't want to do a zip code. I really want to drill down. So I hit my draw tool and I can do a freehand. So maybe my client wants to live right here. And I can search for listings in that area or create a market activity report. Then, remember I talked about the section that contains all your work? I can give it a name and save it and pull it up later on to check for new listings. Under draw, I can also go under a radius. Okay, my client wants to live within, let's say my client wants to live within a mile of his or her place of employment. And so I would find the employer on the map and then do the same thing and show up all the listings there. Oh, no listings in there. Okay, I can also do a polygon or a box search. For driving, my client might say, I want to be within 30 minutes of my place of employment. You'd use travel time. I want to be a mile away. I can use this distance tool or traffic counts to see how much traffic is in the area. Good things for people who are relocating. Points of interest. These are a lot of fun as well. People might say, I want to be close to shopping malls, the bus, and my church. And I can save these. I can even categorize them into the basics, entertainment for seniors, and it'll come up with what's most relevant for them. You can even do it for businesses. And it will show up all your POIs. Let's see. I should have chosen a larger area. Okay, here are all of our POIs. And when you really zoom in, they're supposed to have a little icon. There you go. So these are all shopping areas. Okay, and then I can do one for schools, public, private, charter, middle, and it will show me the little schools. Okay. Lastly, on data legends, maps can get quite layered. Say I want to see the estimated home values, or I want to see average list price, distressed listings. And then here's my legend of distressed listings. And then of course, you can always click on here until you're familiar with what all of the icons are. Click on the legend right here to get a good sense of what's going on in your market. All right, we are going to go back to the property, and I'm going to just make it easy for myself and go right back to my recent properties. Here you'll find the listing agent. In many regards, in this right column, you'll find agent remarks, showing instructions. Sometimes you'll find, as I mentioned, compensation. It can run the gamut, and what's displayed depends upon what your MLS sends to us in their feed. And don't forget, if you are subscribed to 2 MLSs, to put both of those or even 3 in your profile. Okay, property summary. The blue circles always mean that it's active. Here's a new listing, the date it was listed, the list price, and here's the RVM. Now, what in the world is the RVM? This is another exclusive tool for realtors. It's actually copyrighted. It's called the Realtor Valuation Model. So what's unique about the RVM is that it takes listing data plus public record data to create a value for that property. So sometimes it's, okay, so for this one, it says the RVM is 756,930, okay? And we are 4 stars confident about that based on their algorithm. It was updated on January 11th, but it's also giving you a comfort zone here, you know, saying, okay, it can be within this range. And as we get a little further into this, especially if you join us for the CMA webinar, I'm going to show you how your expertise is so important in all of this, and how you can refine all of these models and customize to get to the point that you think that house should go for. So stick around for that. And so when you're doing a CMA, the RVM algorithm will pick up all of the properties that it thinks are as close a match to your subject property. And we'll go into RVM more on the CMA webinar, but you can print this if you need a refresher on the RVM. Here it is again. You can refine the value of the RVM. And you can do this in a couple of different ways. We'll go into it deeper in the CMA, but here I can come in and I can adjust the basic facts. You know, maybe it's 4 bedrooms. You know, a lot of times public records might be wrong. You know, maybe they've added another bathroom, but I would put that there, but also I would put it here in refine value by home improvements. This is so cool, guys. I know I say that all the time, but RPR is partnered with an organization called Hanley Wood. I think it's actually, if not just national, it might be global, but Hanley Wood takes every home improvement down to the zip code and gives it a value based on the time that the improvement was made and how much was spent. So you know all those conversations you have with sellers and they go, oh, I put on a deck in 1995 and it was $10,000 and I want my $10,000 back. That's a tough argument, right? You have to be really persuasive. With this tool, you can just show your client saying, this is what the statistics and data show is the current value. For example, let's just, okay, so let's say we did an upscale bathroom remodel. And this gives you an example. So you don't even have to figure out, oh, is it medium, low, or upscale? It'll tell you, hey, this covers this square footage and stone countertops and mirrored medicine cabinets. And it was completed, let's say it was completed in July of 2019. And let's say the bathroom was 15 grand. I haven't updated a bathroom in years, so I don't know, but okay. Then I say add, and look, that bathroom is now worth $7,100. I can also go in here, you know, sellers maybe don't want to admit that their roof needs to be replaced, or, you know, that their plumbing has to be replaced. You can put those in as well. Also, you can refine the value by the market conditions. And we all know the market conditions are really crazy right now, right? So local market conditions, and watch how the value down here changes. Let's say hot, hot, hot. Look at that number. Home exterior condition, well, let's see, it's, you know, needs a lot of work. Woo! And these, you know, you can do micro things on here. Home interior conditions, well, they've done a pretty good job. Lot size is equal. The view, they're looking at the university and it's beautiful. And privacy, but they have no privacy. So I did some pretty extreme valuation changes here, but you can see how it affects the end value. So I'm scrolling back up here. Here was our original estimate. Here are our refined changes, and here's our refined estimate. If I don't like any of that, I can always reset my values, and I can create a report. We're going to create a report in a minute. Any questions so far? Okay, I hope I'm not boring you. Additional resources, if you're a commercial practitioner, Evaluate. You can use it if you're residential too. This is an investment analysis tool, pretty sophisticated. Here's where it's going to show your work. You can add a note to this property. It'll show up in your reports if you choose for it to be included in your notes. Here's the historical records. And so I always appreciate this where I can go in and see, what it sold for before, what the photos were at each stage of the game. And then here are all of the details. So you'll appreciate that you can compare public facts with the listing facts for all of these really important facets of a property listing. You can even add another row if you like. Schools. I know that schools are a sensitive topic. You probably don't want to discuss them other than saying, well, the school for this area is. And if they really want more information, our school data comes from greatschools.net. So allow RPR to be your voice for that. And you won't have to say whether or not a school is good, bad, or indifferent. And you can even run school reports. Here's the price change history, always helpful. The RPR livability index. These can show up on reports as well. All of the sizes of the room details, and this depends on what the realtor puts in the listing. Interior, exterior, other details, location, owner facts, legal description, taxes, and this is always helpful too, mortgage records. I've heard stories from a lot of realtors about sellers say, oh, my mortgage is paid off and not. You can go on here and find out what the mortgage situation is. Okay. Scrolling back up, trying not to make you dizzy. Here's the street view, and it just carries over the summary information. Here's the overhead view. Again, you can go in and out, rotate. Here's the virtual tour. And this virtual tour is hosted outside RPR. So you can choose to go to there or you cancel it if you don't want to leave. And then the historical photos. This is a little bit easier than going through the historical records I just showed you in the MLSs, but they will give the last two. If you want to go really far back, go into the MLS records. So this was last listed on June 22nd. So let's see what the house looked like in 2017. And so this is so helpful to see what improvements were made, and you can ask the seller questions because you don't want the seller to take credit for things that they did not they did not put in the house. Okay. So that's your home page. That's your property details page. Quite a bit there, right? Here's your history page where you can find sales and financing activity, and you can all years 3, 2, 1, refined value versus assessed. Here are prior sales transactions for this property. And that goes, if there are, 1998, so it's probably not anything prior to that. And again, the tax information, and this can go back quite far. The mortgage records again, and this also can go back. This one goes back to 2004. How this zip code compares to, you'll find all kinds of data about the market. Again, the historical records. This tab is your charts. Come on, internet, don't lose me now. We're all expecting that big storm. So charts are charts. You can include these charts in your reports if you want. It all depends on your client. Some clients just want a 3-page report. Maybe you're selling to an engineer and they want 40 pages. Well, you can give them 40 pages if you want using RPR. And so here's the refine value tool again. Okay. In CMA, we'll go through these 5 steps to take all of your comps. The RVM will suggest comps, and then you can add your own comps. You can do search by maps. You can add an address that you know of. You can take away comps that the RVM suggested. This is where I was talking about your expertise comes in. So those comps are totally up to you. We're just making suggestions. And then based on those comps, you can really dig down and refine the value of each compared to your subject property. You'll get big photos. You can go through and compare refine saying, oh, this property is not in good a shape as my subject. And even at the end, you can disregard the price that RPR comes up with for you and put in your own price. So it's really flexible, but still gives you a rock solid foundation for getting an RPR report together. And then you can research the neighborhood. And you guys probably know your neighborhoods pretty well. There's a lot of charts in here again. I think my favorite section of a neighborhood, this probably be for, people relocating. If you wanted to do a neighborhood report for your client, oh my goodness, come on, internet. All kinds of housing facts and statistics and how the market is changing, how that zip code compares to Chapel Hill, Orange County, North Carolina, and the nation. Okay, more charts. This is always interesting, especially if you are prospecting. You can see the price range of homes sold near that house. Price per square foot, size of homes. Oh, this is for the zip code, not near that house. Age range, number of bedrooms sold, 4 bedrooms. Age range, 50 to 60 years old. Okay, well, that's just, and the schools, the nearby schools, your neighborhoods nearby, and information on that. And then, you can go into the people that live there and get some demographic information. It's getting slower and slower, isn't it? Population, median age, education, population of children, adults by age, income brackets. More than 150 seems to be the key. And occupations in the area, education, biggest provider, oh, the university, and even how people are voting. Okay, economy. I could sing a song while waiting for this. Everyone take a sip of water. Sorry. Do you think internet providers purposely slow it down when there's a storm coming just to freak you out? I don't know. So here's where you find unemployment rates, and this is all provided by the Census Bureau. If you're interested in learning where we get all our data, I'm happy to show that to you. There's hundreds of sources. So here you have income, unemployment rate, neighborhoods again. And you know what, if quality of life doesn't show up, I can tell you that it will talk about, oh, it came up. Rainfall. Look at Chapel Hill gets 98 days of full sun a year. I think it's more than that. You travel an average of 20 minutes to work. Who would disagree with that? And you have no Superfund sites. Good for you guys. The average commute times, everybody drives. The monthly temperature. So here in Wilmington, this July max would be what, 104? The walkability index is important for some people. Okay, whew. That is what you'll find when you go in and search for one property on RPR. You can also do let's just say, I don't know the address and I want to search for listings for my client. Chapel Hill, North Carolina. It comes up with my map view. So I can go into my filters for sale. And I don't want to see any active under contract or pending. No, I don't want to see any of these, but you have the option, or you can just search public records. But I want to do on market. And I have the choice to look for all of these. And to keep it simple, I'm going to search for single family. And I'm gonna do, I can put in my own number, but I'm gonna do 999,000. And of course, if I'm doing leases, or I can do price per square foot, but I'm just gonna do 999,000. And I want 4 bedrooms to 5 bedrooms. And look at this, you guys, and I can save this search too. I can go into these filters and look what you can do with the filters. More and more. Here's all, if you just want to search for distressed, you can come in here, the dates, get only that. You want to search for only open houses, which I'm not sure anybody's doing anymore. Search for land use. And if you're prospecting, try miscellaneous fields, you know, absentee owner. I don't know the name of the owner, but I want all homes in that area that were built between this and this, that, or that are 15 to 20 or 20 plus years old, and maybe the absentee owner is ready to sell. So always check out your advanced filters. So you can see with the filters I chose, I have 13 properties. Good, that'll make it easy. So I can go in, and again, if I save this property, it'll ask me to give it a name. And then when I go under my work, it will show up on my saved properties. So, or my searches, sorry, it'll go under my searches. Only 3 houses in this area. Well, I want to search this whole area. So I am going to draw, oops, sorry, so that I catch all of these, and I am no Van Gogh. And I'm going to search in this area. Okay, now I've got everything in there. I can go up here and I can view my results this way as a list, and you'll see single family, active, address, and the specs about the house. And I can again save that property, save all the way down. Or I can view them, I like this one, as a grid. So the house, the photos of the houses are larger. And the same things, gives you the specs, allows you to save. Click that to create a report, okay? Or I can look at it in the map view if I want to do things like POIs and where are the schools and what's the terrain. So this is my favorite view. And I want to draw your attention to these 3 options. Through RPR, you get 2,000 free mailing labels a month. Now, I want to clarify. We don't give you the labels, but we give you the database of 2,000 labels. They go right to the Avery mailing label format, and you just type in the kind of label you're using and you get them. This is wonderful for your prospecting, for your direct mail. And if you want to learn more about that, say the word and we'll dig into that later, or we can stay on board and I'll show you how to do. Oh, let me see. Here's a question from Sir. What's the difference between active, under contract, and pending? You know what? That's a really good question. And they just changed that. And so it's stumped Lori. And I was not paying attention when they did the release webinar for the staff. And active, under contract versus pending. So I'll find that out for you, sir. Would you please put your email address in the chat and I'll send you the response?
Certainly, thank you.
Thank you. Keep coming up with questions like that. We learn from each other. From here, I can print this page if I want to. Or, yay, we're finally there. Add a report. Oh, I just printed it. So here is your RPR report page. Oh, you know what? I want to do a report on a property, not on that area. So I'm going to go to reports and choose property reports, and it's going to say we need an address. All right, 1 second. Let's just run. Go to my recents. and we'll choose that house again. And then I am going to create a report. You see what I did there? The other one, I was just had a map area. So it was going to create a report of just all of those listings that we're showing, or, you know, focusing on the map. This one is a property report just for this property. So I hit reports. Okay, oops, 1 second, sorry about that. So I'm going to create a property report. Now, this is so important to remember, because I see all the time in the chats that realtors say, well, you know, I don't want a 50-page report from RPR on a simple property, right? I want to just have a couple of pages. Well, I bet you'll agree with me, and I can't get them to change this, is that, let me see, go back here. Look how this shows up on your screen. This is what I really want to impress upon you. This view sample and this little plus, it should say, choose my report elements. It doesn't, it says view sample or plus. Sorry, guys, sometimes, you know, it's no rhyme or reason. So here, your subject prop, this is what you want to include. Listing price, value changes. And if you hover over here, it'll give you an example of what that's going to look like in your report. So we're not doing a comp analysis on this. We want the homeowner facts. We don't want the AARP. We definitely want the photos. We definitely want the photos, the refined value. We didn't do a comp, so we're not going to include that. We're not going to include the property history, sales, distressed. We'll include the map. And what do you say, sir? Should we include all the neighborhood information?
That's always been my problem. I don't know what to include.
Well, you know what? You're going to know your client and what your client wants. And if the client wants just tell me about my property and the basics, as you become more and more familiar, you know what? I'll include everything so you can see what the whole report looks like. And so as you become more familiar with what these reports look like, you'll know what to choose. So here, remember I mentioned that you can include your notes. So if you want to send a message to the realtor about the property, or, you know, remember to discuss something with them, include it in your notes. And then you can like suppress values. I can never say that word, those words. And you know, when we do a CMA, we'll do a seller's. If it's a property flyer that you want to use for marketing, this is where you'll get. Mini property reports are the same thing. They're just mini, and you can see here they're 12 pages. Scroll up here. The property report, if you choose everything, is 28. So you see the difference in those. Valuation workbooks are for hard to sell properties. We have a specialized tool for that you can do. That's another webinar. Market activity reports are always fun, but they can be 26 pages unless you choose your components. And then neighborhood reports and school reports. Okay, come down here. Now this is neat. Include the recipient name if you want, saying, dear Mr. and Mrs. So-so. And here is your nice little message. You can display it now or download it as a PDF or email it to them directly. There's even a section in Run Reports where you can go in and see when they opened it. But we'll get into tracking later. Okay, remember I told you that your profile is so important, because this is what it looks like on the cover page of your report. Isn't that nice? And either your association or your MLS, so this will say either Orange Chatham or Triangle, whoever has the branding for it. And it'll show up on every page. So mine says RPR, of course. And on the cover page, you can choose, okay, give me all of that or just give me some of these. And remember I mentioned that you can include testimonials and some of your other listings and maybe some other things that you provide, that your brokership provides. Just add custom pages. I think you can upload 5 PDFs, and your broker can upload 5 PDFs. So you might want to take advantage of that. And a lot of people I recommend take off page numbers, because if you add custom pages, it may not count it as a page number, and then they get kind of messed up. So, don't show page numbers. And here's my profile with my logo. Okay. Dun, da, da, da. I'm going to run the report. Oh, I didn't. No, I want to display it now. Okay. So sometimes your report comes up in 30 seconds, but sometimes it might take a few minutes. There are 900,000 realtors that use RPR, and you never know if they're all running reports at the same time. So once I've generated my report, it will show up here. I have one pending, so I can go into reports, reports requested today, and you can see it's generating. Okay, while that's generating, which is the last thing we're going to cover today, does anybody have any questions or anything that you'd like me to cover? Just take off your mute, T-Chow.
I'm not muted.
Oh, I know, I'm just writing down your
Oh.
email address, and I tend to talk to myself all the time. It's the only way I can be sane. Okay, while that report is generating.
There it is.
Yes. Now, in your profile, you can determine whether or not you want that doorbell to ring when your report downloads. If you have a dog and you generate 10 reports a day, you're going to put your dog in the loony bin, because he or she is going to bark like crazy every time they hear that bell. And I keep telling myself I'm going to take off the bell, but I don't, because it really gets my attention. Okay, so I'm downloading the report. Tell me if I go too fast, because this is the capstone of everything we've done today. Again, this is going to be branded to you. Our list price, estimated value, refined value, and again, you can suppress those so the refined value or the estimated value doesn't show, and just your recommended list price. And in the CMA class, we're going to go into how to put your own price there if you don't like what RPR is telling you. Here are all the home facts. Extended home facts. Remember seeing all of this on the property summary page? The schools. Here are all of the photos. And then the historical photos. You can suppress those as well. We choose all of the elements that we want to go into this report. Here's when we were playing around with refined value. So I'll mention that whatever you do to that property listing only retains in your RPR account. So you are not changing the overall. So for example, if another realtor goes to that listing, your numbers don't show up. They just show up for you. Does that make sense? So here's the refined value. You recall that. Here's all the, this is the, we didn't choose any comps, but if we had, they would have all shown up here. Property history. Mortgage records. Remember the charts that we saw. All of the map layers. Again, you don't have to include this unless you have a client that really likes data. Here's the neighborhood. More charts of sales price, list price, listing inventories, price by square foot. Another good thing to share with your seller if they're struggling with your recommended list price. People. Somebody says, I want to live in a young neighborhood. Education. Population. We went all through the neighborhood. Good for relocators. The quality of life. Schools. It looks like they're not feeding school data from Morris Grove. That's interesting. Okay, here's Smith Middle School. They get A's and A pluses. That's fantastic. Look at that teacher grade, their salary. Terrific for people that live in that area. And see the community reviews for this school. When you run a school report, you can suppress the reviews because they can really be subjective. So I know that a lot of realtors choose not to include that. They might say something about a teacher. Here's the height. Look at these great schools. All right, the last page of every report in RPR, and you don't have to include this, but for your knowledge, these are the primary conduits of our data and where we get them from. And throughout the platform, when you come up and they have the little icon, you know, with the circle, if you click on that, it will tell you where that data comes from and when it's updated. I'm going to turn back on my video here. Am I there?
No? Oh, yes.
Okay, good. So here's where, you know, for example, the listing data comes from MLSs and CIEs. That's where we get it from. And that's how we draw our estimated values. Public records data, right? Market conditions and forecasts based on, we get those from listings and public records data. The census and employment data is really big for us. And in the last year or so, there were super delays on it. You know, and people were calling and we were saying, gosh, we have no control, but it's really important data. So I believe it's just been updated in the last 2 months. Demographics and our trends data comes from an organization called Esri, and it's a scientific advanced data, oh gosh, like a laboratory, and they do a lot more than give us demographic data, but we rely heavily from them. And please don't ask me what Esri stands for because it's really sophisticated and I can never remember. But they do all the segmentation and the tapestry work. And if you're ever interested in going through any of our tapestry data, it's just amazing what you'll find. You know, they'll say this neighborhood is called up and coming 30 somethings, and it will tell you what they buy and where they shop and how much money they make. And it's a little bit scary how deep it gets. And then here's our business data from SIC. School data and reviews. This is kind of outdated because I think it's greatschools.net now. Maybe they changed back to niche already. So, you know, you can always use this when you're saying, where do they get that and where does it come from? Okay, I've taken more time than Cub allowed for me. The last thing I want to say is you have a RPR blog that is everything housed for what you need to learn further. You can rely on Cub. He'll send you stuff that we send out to him. But if you want to take it upon yourself, I recommend you sign up for a webinar. Write this down. It's blog, B-L-O-G, dot, N-A-R, RPR, .com / learning. This is our learning center and it's intuitive. So you'll want to come down here and say, okay, I'm getting started with RPR, or I want to learn about the CMA. And you say, well, I'm a beginner in the CMA and I want ebooks, printables, tutorials. And wait, look at that. Come on. I'm going too fast. I can do, oh, I only want things that are 10 to 30 minutes long, under 10 minutes. Just do it all. Ah, look at that, nothing found. Let me try that again. That's not true. Okay, good. All right, thank you. So here's building a, oh no, I want CMA. Come on, guys. Okay, so here's a webinar coming up, make a lasting impression with your listing presentation, or you can go into getting started, which I started with and should have kept. Here's a webinar, RPR for new members. Remember I showed you those printable guides? You can access them here. This is really cool too. I know I'm beyond, but I just want to show you this. If you go into this learning series for RPR residential, just pick the thing that you want to learn. So you don't have to sit through the whole 60-minute thing. So you go, Lori really screwed up on how to create an account. So I'm going to watch this 2-minute video. Or I really want to learn about how to designate my own markets, 1 minute and 40 seconds. Or, you know, pricing a property in the neighborhoods, the schools. So go to the blog. And if you don't have, it's under learning. And you can become an RPR rock star just by accessing all of these things.